Hey, welcome back. Time right now is 8:50. You can see Austin Mayor Steve Adler is joining us this morning. Mr. Adler, not sure if you can hear us, but there are a lot of people who are very concerned about the power situation in Austin. At latest check, we saw there is more than 36% of the city, those who have energy from Austin Energy without power. I've got to ask you, what is going on here?
It's the weather that's going on here. Texas as a state just isn't set up for this. So what we have are obviously really low temperatures. It's causing the demand statewide to skyrocket. And at the same time, because of the freezing temperature, some of the generation around the state, I understand, has gone out, which means quite literally there's not enough energy being produced for what people are wanting to have at this point. So what's happened is they've turned off the power around the state, and that's what you're seeing in Austin. About 36% of the customers. What we need everybody to do right now is to conserve, 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 which means that if you're in a home that has power, turn the thermostat way down. You should be unplugging things that have little red lights on them, even when they're off.
Mayor, before you continue on with that, I need to ask you, there are people who are watching on our live stream right now on their phones, on their tablets, whatever they can, and they're trying to stay warm. So yes, we can conserve as much energy as we can as long as the power is on. But what are you doing as a mayor to help people who need to stay warm in their house right now?
Well, right now we have 187,000 people without power. And it's really hard to be able to do anything for the 187,000 people other than making sure that they have all the information that they can have, and having everybody who is able to hear this message conserve power. We can't turn on power that we don't have. We have shelters for people that are operating right now, the same system we set up for people that are experiencing homelessness in the city. To try to provide places to keep people warm.
Well, that's what I want to ask you about that, because why did you prepare early enough to make sure that there's a place where people can go to stay warm? Not only our homeless population, but people who are at home right now with a baby or somebody that they just need to take care of. What did you prepare for this?
I don't think anybody's sufficiently prepared in this state for the temperatures that we have for the sustained period that we have them. And I don't know, we know that we have shelters that are set up right now in the city. And I haven't had a chance to talk to people this morning about expanding those. I've been trying to get information with respect to the power outage. But we have 187,000 people without power right now. So the most important thing we can be doing right now is getting people information.
You know, there are, like you mentioned, people who have not had power, though, since 2 in the morning. We're going on 7 hours here, and it sounds like, you know, we were expecting rolling outages, one neighborhood for a half hour, then the next neighborhood. But when you haven't had power for 7 hours, you're saying, okay, you know, this has been long enough. It's somebody else's turn. Do you have any update on why it doesn't appear that they're quickly rolling from neighborhood to neighborhood?
I don't know the answer to that. I talked to the director of Austin Energy this morning, and she said that was not something that they were able to do, that they're not able to turn on the load in areas right now.
So once you lose it, you lose it. Is that what you're saying? And until
for right now, that's correct. So people shouldn't be anticipating that the power is going to go on the next few minutes, because it doesn't look like it's going to be able to.
Okay, so what are you going to do to prepare for that, Mayor? I know you said that you've been getting information, so what can we do to let our viewers know that help is on the way?
I think that the most that you can do right now is get people the most accurate information that you can, and I think you've been doing that. 36% of the people, about 187,000 customers, are without power. Everybody who has power should be conserving as much as they possibly can. And that's just not here in Austin. This is across the state. Everybody that's associated with the ERCOT grid. Because the ERCOT grid right now, statewide, is not producing the energy that we need. People should be turning off appliances. They should be unplugging things. That little red light, I'm told, adds up across the state. That if everybody did that in the state, it would help. But at this point, that's what we can do. I would check on neighbors. I would call people, elderly folks. I would be reaching out to the people that might need the help near where I lived.
Mayor, before we let you go, I have to ask you, there are some first responders who are going back and forth to their home. Austin police officers in Pflugerville and in other cities. You have the city who is putting them up in a hotel. Are you doing that for APD?
I don't know the answer to that. I can check.
Do you want to do that for APD?
There are 1,000 different things that we want to be doing right now. And I'm not close enough to that challenge to know how that challenge rates right now compared to all of the challenges, but it's certainly something I'll check on. Obviously, our first responders are real important to us, and they need to be kept safe too.
Who makes the final call on which neighborhoods get their power switched off and which ones stay on, and why those aren't rotating?
That would be Austin Energy that makes those decisions.
Okay, and when you've talked to them, what are they telling you?
I've told you what they've told me with respect to the number of people that are out, the prospects of being able to turn back on, and what they're asking people to do.
Okay, all right. Mayor Steve Adler this morning on what has been a very difficult day for our city.
It's a really difficult day, and we need everybody to hang in as best they can. We're all in this together.
We appreciate your time.